Hey Spartan SGX athletes, this is Patrick Harner, Spartan SGX coach, and I want to help you obstacle-proof your body. Specifically, we're going to look at everyone's favorite obstacle, the spear throw. So what are the pieces that make up the spear throw? What are the pieces in this body that we need to warm up to prepare us to be successful at this obstacle? Well, if you look at the mechanics, there's a little bit of everything. There's some foot stuff, there's some hip stuff, there's some trunk stuff, there's some shoulder stuff. But I want to look at specifically two things, the trunk and the shoulder. Now, even though you're only throwing with one arm, I want to encourage you to do this warm-up on both sides because it's still going to be beneficial. So let's take a look. So first, let's take a look at the trunk. So I want to do some trunk rotation since primarily that's what the trunk is doing when we're throwing the spear. And we're going to use a concept of contract, relax, but we're not going to work against resistance. So here's how this is going to work. So you're sitting cross-legged, either leg, doesn't matter which direction you're going, and there'll probably benefit in even switching the legs. But what I want to have you do is rotate your trunk as far as you can, not collapsed, not way high, just kind of neutral in the middle. You're going to rotate as far as you can comfortably. Once you get to that comfortable position, I want you to brace everything in this area. Not suck in, but brace. Like when you laugh or you're getting ready to get punched in the gut. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you too often. Or when you cough. That's what I want you to do. So you're going to twist as far as you can comfortably, then brace. Squeeze all this, relax, see if you can twist a little further. And I do. Brace all of this. It should feel nice and tight, nice and snug. Relax, see if you can twist a little further. Make it snug, nice and tight. Relax, see if you can go a little further, and then one more time, contract. So about 3 or 4 times, and then we'll go to the other side. So again, twist as far as you can comfortably. I have a little less on this side to start. Brace. So again, working to the other side, we're doing the same thing. Twist as far as you can comfortably. Contract, so squeeze all of this. Relax, see if you can go a little further. Good, contract, squeeze all this, relax, see if you can go a little further. And you might surprise yourself just by simply squeezing those muscles. It's going to allow you to get a little more range of motion with each repetition. And then those guys are going to be nice and warmed up for the spear throw. But I want to add one more thing, one more level, besides just contracting this, is to make it a little more dynamic. And I'm going to do that standing up now. After doing that nice contract, relax, let's get a little more motion. Let's make this trunk rotation a little more dynamic. So here you're going to be standing, and I want your hips still, and you're just going to slowly twist as far as you can comfortably, and then we'll slowly twist to the other side. But we're going to start to build a little bit of speed as we do this. A little faster each time, but not slamming into the end. Now after you pick up a little pace, you've done this several times, we can make this a little more ballistic. So what I want you to do is twist as far as you can, then back off just an inch. Try to remember that angle. Maybe look at something to know where you're going, then twist the other way as far as you can, then back off an inch. That spot we found on both sides, we're going to approach those explosively and ballistically. We're going to have a nice robotic motion. Again, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep those hips as still as possible. It's the speed that's going to challenge those core muscles a little bit, and it's the speed of slowing you down. So you build into it, and that abrupt stop is causing all this to ballistically contract. Good, and then as you go along, you can start to make it a little more fluid. Again, not slamming into the ends, finding the end and backing off an inch so you have a little bit of a buffer area so you're not smashing into the end of that range. All right, now let's look at that throwing shoulder. But again, I want you to do this on both sides. There's a lot of rotation involved with this motion. Now, if you had a partner, preferably you would actually do this exercise up here, but if you're just by yourself, here's a real simple way of doing that. You just bring this over to here. We're going to do some isometrics. So see how far you can rotate comfortably. Again, that shoulder should not be picking up like this. So how far can you rotate? And then you're going to take this hand, you're just going to make a little wall. And I'm going to push this arm down. So I'm trying to rotate into this wall that I've made. You're just going to hold that for several seconds. You'll relax. You might be able to go a little further. Don't pick that shoulder up though. And we'll just do that several times. Just a few seconds on, maybe several seconds. Relax. See if it'll go a little further. Now the effort on this, the intensity, is very light. We just want those rotator muscles to contract just a little bit. Then after we've done a few of these, maybe several of them, we'll go the other direction. So now we're going to rotate that direction. Again, I'm going to use this hand as a wall. I'm trying to rotate the arm that way. So find it. Now I'm going to cup my hand around my forearm. And I'm pushing out that way, rotating my arm that direction. I'm just going to hold several seconds. Relax. You may be able to rotate a little further, maybe not. Looks like I went a little bit further. Again, very gentle. Relax, see if we'll go a little further. We'll do one, maybe two more. And relax. And that's going to help that shoulder get really warmed up. Now those are the isometrics. Let's do this a little more dynamically. And okay, we just finished working those shoulder muscles isometrically, internally rotating and externally rotating. Now I want to work those muscles a little more dynamically to get you ready. But what I want to start with is I want you to kind of imagine that your arm's, buried in sand, or maybe it's in wet cement. But I want you to try to tense all this stuff up, kind of brace these muscles just like you did with your core. And I want you to move through that sand, really believe it's there. And I want you to feel all of this stuff in here, deep inside the shoulder, kind of tensing up. Now you'll feel these more superficial muscles kicking in, the biceps, triceps kicking in, that's fine. But slowly move through it as far as you can, then we'll go the other way. Kind of move through that sand, going outward. Just do that several times. Once you relax, you're going to be like, ooh, I did a little something. Then we'll pick it up and make it a little more dynamic, and we'll do some of that ballistic stuff like we did with the core. But what's important is that you find your barriers, and you don't want to smash into those barriers. You want to stop just an inch shy of those barriers to start, okay? And we'll try to be robotic at first and go and be a little more fluid. So robotic first. And when you know you're under control is there's not bouncing either direction. And it's a rotation from the shoulder as opposed to the whole arm flapping down and flapping out. That's pretty good on the ballistic. Now we'll make it more fluid. Again, never slamming into the ends. And once you're done, that should feel pretty good. Get out there and toss that spear. It's going to feel awesome.